Well, we're back at the rescue house. It's end of the week. We put in a long week here. And back in the media room where we removed the ceiling so that we can replace it with the proper ceiling. So I'll give you a little preview of what we're going to be doing here, or at least what the plan is. So in our last video, we were demoing out the ceiling, removing the old ceiling and finding all kinds of surprises that were, well, surprising. And one of them is the wiring that we found up here. And in the last video, it had wire nuts on it. In the meantime, we've pulled it apart. And we've looked up in the soffit outside this window. And we found the problem was somebody had wired a bunch of lights up and just thrown the wires up into the attic with the wire nuts on them before they put the soffit back on. Now, as far as I know, the person I'm told that did that was the electrician that was working on the house. It doesn't surprise me based on what I've seen, what else I've seen him doing. But it's kind of scary. So we went ahead and stuck our phone in that soffit through here and took some pictures, and lo and behold, if that soffit isn't full of illegally put together wires and loose boxes with wires in them, things like that. So we'll have to address that at some point, but we're not there yet. So here we are in the media room without the ceiling that was falling about 3 inches. Actually, it better fall on the ground, but this is what we're going to start over with. And this is really the original roof to the original house. And one of the things that's been kind of bugging me that we're going to address with the framers when they get here in a couple of days is the way this bracing is going from this little knee wall right here and goes up to the roof right here, and then there's a beam. You can see the end of the beam right there. It crosses the hallway to this bar area and sits on that wall, and then they put a brace that goes all the way to the center of the roof, which is essentially what's holding that roof up, keeping it from spreading. So there's a ton of weight right there on that brace. And there's a ton of weight on that brace. And then there's these purling braces right here. These are old and original. They're holding up fine. But all of those braces and all those roof braces and sway braces are sitting on top of this old wall that they, in the last remodel, they pulled out a section of the wall and they put in a double pocket door. So that double pocket door goes about from the corner of the room right here. Goes to the corner of the room, and it goes to the end of this knee wall that they put up. So that's how big a span that there is that's intended to support all of that bracing, all of that weight, all of that downward force from that weight, and the ceiling of this room when it's put back in. So I'm not convinced that the beam that's in there, because it appears to only be a 2x12 beam, is nearly adequate enough. And my fear is that at some point in the not too distant future, that wall starts sagging from too much weight. So what we're going to do is come up with some ways to change the weight load. We're going to do two things. One, we're going to either go, I think we're going to go on top. I think the plan will be to go on top of this knee wall with a double LVL that'll span all that wood. It'll be probably an 11.5 inch or 11 3/4 or 11.5 inch LVL that's 1 3/4 inch wide, a double one. And we'll transfer all of those braces and all of this weight bearing stuff to that LVL. We'll take all of the weight really off of this wall the way it is now and transfer it to what I term as a load point. So the weight from all that will be on this end and on that corner. That's how we're going to deal with that weight issue. And then that way it frees up this whole area right here, takes all that weight off of it, and gives me the ability then to add some more bracing, which is really ultimately what I want to do. The real challenge here is the height of the ceiling inside this room. You can see the plate line right here, and I want to set one beam over there, and then I'm going to come over here and I want to set one beam over here. But I have to make sure that I take all of this other weight off of that wall before I add this weight to it. I think we're fine when we do that. Same thing here. We have a beam that goes on this wall and it sits up on this wall. That forms two ends of the square we're going to put in this room. We're going to put a square pan ceiling. And by doing that, we shorten long span, which is this one, considerably. And so we then have a beam going this way and a beam going this way to our two new beams, and we've formed our box that we're going to build in here. And once I have that done and I have them secured and supported from underneath, we will then be able to actually add some bracing, add our ceiling joist, and finish this ceiling out. So in our next video, in this room, we'll be showing you the framing in here when we're putting this together, and over the course of the next week or so we'll be adding more videos as the room progresses. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and send me a message. Tell me how much you like it. Tell me how great looking I am. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.